Floating cities. The future or a washed-up idea? Maritime, a proposed floating city, has caught the consideration of the United Nations. People have a long history of living on the water. Our water homes length the fishing towns in Southeast Asia, Peru, and Bolivia to current skimming homes in Vancouver and Amsterdam. As our urban areas wrestle with congestion and unfortunate day-to-day environments, the sea stays possible boondocks for refined water-based networks. The United Nations has communicated support for additional examination into coasting urban areas in light of rising ocean levels and to house environment-displaced people. A theoretical proposition, Oceanic City, was divulged in April at the first Roundtable on Sustainable Floating Cities at UN Base Camp in New York. The previous travel industry pastor of French Polynesia, Marc Collins Chen, and engineering studio Big progressed the proposition. Chen is associated with the Seasteading Institute, which is looking to create self-ruling city-states skimming in the shallow waters of have countries. While this most recent proposition has acquired UN consideration, it is an old thought we have more than once got back to in the course of recent years with little achievement. Indeed, the Oceanic City proposition has not arrived at a similar degree of specialized refinement as past models. A short history of coasting urban areas. The design local area was entranced with marine utopias between the 1950s and 70s. The mechanical confidence of this period drove planners to consider whether we could fabricate settlements in aloof places like the polar areas, the deserts, and on the ocean. The Japanese Metabolists set forward unimaginable ventures, for example, Kenzo Tongei's 1960 Tokyo Bay Plan and the Marine City proposition of Kikutake and Kurokawa. In the West, Buckminster Fuller proposed Triton City, which would be associated with the territory by means of scaffolds. Archigram, a neo-cutting-edge engineering bunch, proposed submerged ocean ranches. These recommendations were aimed at tackling the looming metropolitan emergencies of overpopulation and pressing factors of shore-based assets. Many were even refined enough to be licensed. The curve of this worldwide structural conversation was caught during the principal UN territory gathering, Habitat I, in Vancouver in 1976. From multiple points of view, the UN has gotten back to the Vancouver Declaration from Habitat I to adopt strong, significant and powerful human settlement arrangements and spatial arranging systems, and to treat human settlements as an instrument and object of improvement. We are seeing a rotating that started in 2008 with Vincent Calabout's Lilypad, a gliding ecopolis for biological displaced people. Where coasting urban communities were once excused as excessively far got, the idea has been repackaged and is reappearing into public cognizance. This time in an all the more politically suitable state, as a method for tending to the environmental crisis. The innovation and sorts of gliding city structures. No drifting settlements have been made on the high oceans. Ebb and flow seaward designing is worried about how urban communities can find framework, like air terminals, thermal energy plants, spans, oil storerooms, and arenas, in shallow seaside conditions as opposed to in profound worldwide waters. Two fundamental sorts of enormous gliding structures, VLFS, innovation can be utilized to convey the heaviness of a coasting settlement. The main, barge structures, are level sections reasonable for coasting in shielded waters near shore. The second, semi-sub designs, for example, oil rigs, include stages that are raised on sections off the water surface. These can be situated in profound waters. Conceivably, oil apparatuses could be repurposed for such coasting urban communities in worldwide waters. Maritime City depends on the boat structure. This would confine it to shallower waters with barriers to restrict the effects of waves. Such a design could fill in as an augmentation of a beachfront city, similar to a day-to-day existence pontoon for island networks immersed by rising waters, or to offer portable fundamental types of assistance to occupants of flood-inclined ghettos. Sovereign skimming urban communities and micronations. While some early marine idealistic propositions were reactions to arising metropolitan issues, numerous recommendations conceptualized seaborne recreation provinces. These people group would be autonomous city-states permitting occupants to go around charge laws or limitations on clinical examination in their own nations. Such a coasting city was thought about as a micronation with sway and the capacity to give citizenship to its tenants. The model was set by the Principality of Sealand, off the shoreline of Britain. The Principality of Sealand is a micronation arranged on Ruff's Tower, a stage off the Bank of Britain. Ryan Lackey, Flickr, CC by none of these propositions has succeeded. Indeed, even current endeavors, for example, the Freedom Ship and the Seasteading Institute's arrangements for a self-governing coasting settlement under French Polynesian locale have slowed down. A new effort to make a sovereign micronation, Seastead, off Thailand prompted its defenders to turn out to be outlaws, conceivably confronting capital punishment. A suitable venture? Innovation isn't a hindrance to gliding urban areas in global waters. Advances in innovation empower us to make structures for a home in remote ocean waters. These plans have never truly taken off due to political and business hindrances. While this time around defenders is bundling drifting urban communities in an all the more politically suitable idea as a day-to-day existence pontoon for environment evacuees, business hindrances remain. Aside from the UN, hardly any associations have the financial and political impact or motivation to convey a satellite gliding city in the sea. Given the huge danger of a local area in outrageous confinement in global waters, the answer for uniting individuals in mid-sea expects us to consider what interfaces us. In my view, the eventual fate of sea urban areas is in innovation grounds and in the travel industry. Given the critical danger of a local area in outrageous disengagement in worldwide waters, the answer for uniting individuals in mid-sea expects us to consider what interfaces us: innovation, work, and play. In these three components, we see, maybe, the two least hanging natural products, or the most light of opportunities, for sea urban communities. The first is in gliding tech grounds where huge innovation organizations set up coasting server farms and grounds in worldwide waters. Arranged external public locales, these grounds could bypass progressively grave protection systems or offer imaginative mechanical administrations without arranging administrative boundaries. The subsequent possibility is a revisitation of the seaborne relaxation provinces of the past. Organizations, for example, Disney could develop their voyage contributions to assemble gliding amusement parks. These hotels could be sited in global waters or facilitated by seaside urban areas. Given our interest in living on the water, regardless of whether Oceanic City doesn't succeed, soon we see another skimming city proposition. Furthermore, in the event that we get the blend of social, political, and business drivers right, we may very well end up living on one.